Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the foreign minister's visit of Kabul. We also saw the statements that came in from there, and of course the use of American weapons against Pakistan to perpetrate terrorism. We'll be talking about that. Of course, high-level engagement has been decided as far as between Pakistan and Afghanistan is concerned. What are the takeaways from this visit? What can we expect from the future as far as Pakistan and Afghanistan engagement is concerned, as far as the role of terrorism and what we expect from the Afghan government, the pledges there, all of that today on Perspective. I have with me Fakhar Yousafzai, who's a senior journalist, AVM retired Ijaz Malik, who's a defense analyst. Thank you for being with us today. Dr. Adnan Sarwar, foreign affairs expert. Thank you for joining us. Ambassador Shafqat Ali Khan, spokesperson a little later on from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us today, gentlemen. Fakhar Saab, I'm going to start with you. First of all, how do you look at this visit at this time, the effect of it overall, and of course the statements that have come in from this visit overall? How do you look at them?
Thank you very much, Mahrukh. This was a very important visit, especially for Pakistan, not only for Afghanistan, as well as the foreign minister and the deputy prime minister of Pakistan visited Kabul for one day, and before they, Sadeh Khan Saab have visited Kabul twice. And today meeting with the Amir Khan Muttaqi and with the Prime Minister of Afghanistan, with the Ishaq Dar Saab. And I think so we will go ahead with the so many positive things. Pakistan have showed their concern about the border, especially the TTP is the main concern of Pakistan. But at the other side, Amir Khan Muttaqi showed his concern about the Afghan refugees expelled from Pakistan, and he told the foreign minister that you should show a respectable way. You should send them to our country, but with a respectable way. I think so. It was very important, and this visit was almost up to 2 years. Amir Khan Muttaqi visited Pakistan, I think so, in November 2023. After that, no high value, I will say that the foreign minister or the secretary of foreign office, nobody visited Kabul, and from Kabul, nobody visited Pakistan in Islamabad. Therefore, it's very positive right now, because from last couple of months, we have seen so many attacks from TTP in Pakistan, especially they targeted our security forces or police officers everywhere in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I think so, if they will agree on this, especially on the TTP issue with Pakistan, that will be a very big success. And I think so that will be a very positive move for Pakistan. And especially we will be able to control, to overcome the current situation and the border management as well as the terrorism.
Let me include Ijaz Sahab in this also. Ijaz Sahab, we know that this has been the deadliest year as far as terrorism is concerned in over a decade. We also know that Pakistan continues to suffer for terrorism that is not our own. As far as this meeting is concerned, as far as this interaction is concerned, in terms of laying down what Pakistan wants or expects from Afghanistan, do you think that this will be a result-oriented visit?
Well, this is a very important and significant event, given the background of so many things happening at a very fast pace, and of course the magnitude of terrorism which we have faced in last year, and it has been on increase, over past almost a year plus time now. I think the other significance of this visit would be that right now, while we are contemplating as a state and government of Pakistan, that we will not tolerate any kind of interference by any foreign supporter or any other, some state-sponsored or non-state actors who are trying to cause unrest in Balochistan and overall terrorist activities in Pakistan. So this visit of Deputy Prime Minister and who also holds the portfolio of Foreign Minister, it would significantly complement our armed forces resolve that we are prepared, whether it's on the security side or on the political side, to resolve this matter. And unless and until the other side responds, obviously the quality would continue to be as it is. So I think there have been some positive hopes of this visit, and let's pray that sense prevails in Kabul, and they somehow, this time around, they do something beyond lip service to whatever they have given as a commitment, not only to Pakistan, but to the world at large in Doha Accord, and they have been repeatedly saying that they would not allow their
Right.
soil to be
Let me
used
come back to
against
you,
any.
Ijaz Sahab. Let me go to Dr. Adnan Sarwar. Can you hear me, Dr. Adnan?
Indeed.
Dr. Adnan, of course, this visit is important. Of course, in terms of our interaction with the Afghan officials, in terms of, our laying down what we expect. In terms of the weapons that unfortunately we know are have been left behind by the US, in terms of the Afghan government's control overall on their ability to clamp down on this kind of terrorism, how do you look at things in that regard?
Well, if you allow me to say, I don't understand really that why did a superpower with all the facilities and mobility at its disposal left a huge amount of weapons, something like $30 billion to $70 billion of weapons. Now, this is not at all understandable. I mean, they could have taken it with them. The planes were with them, and every kind of arrangement could have been made. So I will take this all on a pinch of salt, really. United States must not have made its exit in such a chaotic manner, and which actually made all the countries which are opposed to it, like the Russian Federation, laugh on it. At least the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan in 1989 was not of this kind. It was quite respectable. So the point is that, now then Pakistan have been lodging complaints not only to the Afghan government but the United States as well, and it have been communicated indeed. So in that case, you see, I think United States is coming up with some kind of statements, but the point of concern is that those demands of the United States, of even the president, have been rejected by the Afghan government. They say that they would never ever return those weapons left by the US. So, I mean, let's not be that categorical. I mean, in the negotiations between the states, if they need the recognition of Afghanistan's this government, and United States proved to be vital in that, they can do it also.
Dr. Adnan, do you think that they are in a position to deny the US, this return?
Well, this depends really. I mean, the point is that such quality weapons, if they possess, they can have a leverage on Pakistan also, particularly. I mean, this is very, very unfortunate that Pakistan, which stood with them in all difficult times, and Afghanistan's government representative participated in November 2021 conference here as well in Islamabad. But the point is that they still want to browbeat Pakistan. And I would go beyond this, and I would be lamenting this really, that the Indians and the Afghans somehow have been in touch with each other against Pakistan since 1947. India from the east and Afghanistan from northwest, sandwiching Pakistan. This was very, very brutal, despite all the goodwill shown by Pakistan towards Afghanistan. Now, I think that they can not straight away deny, because if they have to have the recognition with the help of United States and seat in United Nations instead of the earlier government, so then they may make a compromise. So there is the only ray of hope to me, that if they want a wider recognition in the region, outside in the United Nations, and US may help it, then this may be done.
How? Okay, fair enough. Let me come back to you. Let me go to Fakhar Saab again. Fakhar Saab, there is, on the one hand, the ability to deal with this weaponry, the ability to recall this weaponry as far as the US is concerned, and the other question is, the fact that the US is of course watching this interaction overall also, and the ability of the Afghan government to control terrorism has been somewhat circumspect. We've seen that it's not really something that one can from time to time bank on, and they've also said so. How sincere are they, and how, what is it? Clearly, is it their insincerity? Is it their inability? What is it?
Yeah, of course. First of all, I will talk about the insurgency or the terrorism on the Pak-Afghan border, especially in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa different areas. Of course, Pakistan have showing their concern so many times. This is not the first time that Ishaq Dar Saab is showing that concern and share that concern with the Kabul. But I think so we should understand the power, the capacity of the Kabul and the Afghan government as well. Actually, they don't have a proper army and things like that. But this is not a justification, I think so. Of course, Pakistan is sharing so many things with Kabul, the dossiers, as well as sometime might be possible the intelligence and other things. And Pakistan told them that please stop all those people who's living over there from other side of the border, and they are attacking in different area of Pakistan. But I think so. Amir Khan Muttaqi have visited 3 times Islamabad. I have asked personally this question from him, and what was his answer? That TTP is your internal matter. But I don't know today what he said about the concern of Pakistan today with the foreign minister. But of course, they were not willing in the past to that TTP is a matter of concern for Pakistan or a very serious issue. I think so. If we talk about the last 1.5 or 2 years, of course, Pakistan have suffered a lot. Pakistan have lost so many lives of their security officers from the TTP attacks in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well as in Balochistan. Because they are operating in some area near to the Pak-Afghan border in Balochistan. They are also attacking in different areas on the security people. Actually, we should continue these talks with Kabul. We shouldn't stop it. We should come to the border management, as well as we should increase our intelligence capacity. We should manage more better our border with Afghanistan. Actually,
let's talk about border management, and let me go to Ijaz Saab. Ijaz Saab, you think that this has been a growing concern also for us? Of course, it's a huge border. Of course, manning it has always been tenacious. Do you think that we've been able to get this across to the Afghan government that this kind of insurgency or this kind of permeation through this border crossings need to stop?
Yes, we have time and again shown our concern on this issue, but Mahrukh, the problem is it's not matter of capacity for the Kabul interim government. It's more than capacity. It's the matter of intent, that whether they really want to do something about this or not. But if history is any reference, first of all, the Afghan, regardless of whosoever is ruling in Kabul, they do not have respect for the sanctity of the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And they just still claim that they should be having a free access, claiming their historic linkages in this region, and they do not respect the international border. One thing. And secondly, Pakistan has invested a lot uh, through its own indigenous effort to do the fencing of the border, which was very porous and still remains, vulnerable at certain points. And we are doing the surveillance as well, but we still need to enhance the, electronic or digital arrangement to have 24/7 surveillance. And then again, we have to, at time, maybe resort to a kinetic application to whosoever doesn't respect our border, and try to, do some kind of incursion, which they have been doing. So, border management is not a very, convenient thing like elsewhere in the world, in Europe or somewhere else. It's like border management in a war zone. So we have to apply all administrative arrangement as well as the security arrangement in place to make sure that we reach close to a foolproof border management, which is an uphill.
Let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Dr. Adnan. Dr. Adnan, we saw there, the first phase of, hundreds. We saw the way that deportation drive happened. We've seen, how this overall, the effect that it has had on terrorism within Pakistan. As far as the US is concerned, whether, they talk about what, according to Donald Trump, he's saying that this is some $85 billion of weaponry. As far as blaming the DOD or State Department is concerned, do you think that whether the US retrieves these weapons or they don't retrieve them, do you see some kind of stronger reaction coming from the US, or you think that this is just going to be statements or bounce of blame wherever it's on the last administration or however?
Well, I'll emphasize again on this point that United States statement in this regard, as we say in international relations jargon, may be just a posture, with all due respect, and not a real policy. Somehow I have doubts. But to placate Pakistan's government as well, because they know that Pakistan is the key country against terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. But at the same time, you see, they may show it to their public. President Trump, in particular, and his
whatever
government,
whether it's going to benefit them politically.
Yes. Is there some interruption?
Gee, I can hear you. Dr. Adnan, I can hear you.
Right. I'm saying that the Trump administration may make such a deal in which it may show to the world that, well, he had that much power of retrieving the weapons, and that Biden couldn't do that at all. Rather, he, in a very embarrassing manner, left all those very worthy weapons there. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance. But the point is that Afghanistan's Taliban, I would fully agree with Ijaz Saab, that they don't have the intent. I would not say that they don't have the ability, because you see, again, in a candid manner, the TTA and TTP and even ISK, the rest of the others are ideological brothers of one another. Well, I think they would not be that hard on PTA, but maybe on ISK. needless to see, you see Pakistan's ambassador to special envoy to Afghanistan has, with all his optimism, has also remarked that if they have to be dealing with us on this terrorism, because this TTP is a big challenge that cannot be tolerated. And I quote that he said that Afghanistan has to work with us on this. If they are not working on this, all deals are off, unquote. So this, despite all the goodwill that is being generated and tried to be harnessed, you see, Pakistan has never ever lagged behind in supporting Afghanistan in all thick and thin and thick.
Right.
But you see, Afghanistan...
Dr. Adnan will be taking a short break for Azan, and then we'll come back and resume talking about this latest visit, and in light of that, what we can expect as far as Pakistan and Afghanistan and their interaction on clamping down on this kind of terrorism that spews from that side, unfortunately. Welcome back. We've been talking about the latest visit of the Foreign Minister in Kabul and the delegation, and what are the key takeaways from this visit and what we can expect with regard to combating the wave of terrorism that unfortunately Pakistan has experienced. Let me go to Dr. Adnan. Overall, I know that you were earlier on talking about what we can expect, but as far as a shift in approach is concerned, like you said, that yes, it is whether it is not so much the inability, it's more whether they really the fact that they can do it and the fact that are they going to do it. Do you think that we need a shift in approach with regard to Afghanistan? Of course, this visit and this kind of engagement is the first of its kind in at least a decade. So do you think that perhaps another approach or a more a stronger approach is needed, or do you think that this is going to yield the kind of results we've made ourselves clear to the Afghan government, loud and clear?
Yes, Mahrukh, you again have asked a very sensitive question, and this needs a little, I would say, wait to really answer. Though one can give some foresight, but the point is that let's see that after some weeks or so, a month or so, whether the terrorist cross-border terrorism from Afghanistan's side decreases. So this would be the real test of the pudding. But I think that you see the foreign minister and the deputy prime minister lately met Mr. Nuruddin Azizi also in Afghanistan, who is the Minister of Commerce and Industries there in Afghanistan, and the two personalities discussed for the maintaining of relations at the highest level and for the peace and prosperity of the two countries. So this also has been there. So what I'm trying to say is that somehow new approach already has been adopted. And Pakistan has tolerated that much that no country in the world could have tolerated this. Just because Pakistan basically wants to have cordial relations with this very important neighbor of Pakistan, with which Pakistan has Muslim and cultural and historic and geographical relations. So, but the point is that to what extent, if this doesn't stop, and Taliban now have the collaboration towards Afghanistan with BLA, etc. as well. So it is now hitting from the two directions. They have expanded their terrorist activities, in fact. So therefore, I would say that if you see they do not open up and they do not cooperate for their interest as well, for their economic progress, for their diplomatic breakthroughs, for which Pakistan would be a big gateway, they would be making a big folly. And they would be just living in some wrong delusions or illusions. I don't know on whose behalf, but I see some sinister move from India, though Russia and China are also going to facilitate the end of terrorism there. Russia has just lifted the ban on the TTA as a terrorist organization just yesterday, day before yesterday. So there is also something of an encouragement to them. Chinese also have been meeting them in China. So the point is that Pakistan is in alignment with all of them. However, I would not like to say this, that if this doesn't happen, then our country's new defense line of action, that it has to be in the hard state. And in the world over, you see, preemptive strikes are made before the militants or enemy strikes you. So preemptive strikes, Pakistan, already you see one massive air strike to a limited extent was made by Pakistan Air Force. So they, the Afghans know the lethality of Pakistan's defense forces. But if, and they have to realize that if they do not want to or they cannot in the both short and the medium and long range relations with Pakistan, if they don't want to do that due to any reasons whatsoever, their ideological bond with these terrorists for enforcing the Sharia in Pakistan of their own brand, which is very, very rigid, not acceptable to the civilized nation. So then you see they would have a deep problem, and that they have to realize that Pakistan is the most important neighbor of Afghanistan and has been a supplier of different kind of items to them on a day-to-day basis. Pakistan is trying to do its best to return the refugees unregistered in a dignified manner. I've been seeing the statements of the administrators themselves. So this is also propaganda.
Fair enough. Let me include, Ijaz Sahab in this also. Ijaz Sahab, what about, of course, our reality where we are in terms of the placement, a geographical location of Afghanistan with regard to a hostile neighbor? Do you think that, in terms of controlling the kind of terrorism that permeates from there, are we going to be, of course, the Afghans have knowledge of this. Kulbhushan Yadav is a case in point. Do you think that international organizations overall, or do you think that the international, those that can make a difference with regard to this kind of interference that continuously comes from there is also extremely important, no?
International assistance or any kind of intervention, I don't foresee in near future, because the war in Ukraine and the Middle East, they are the prime agenda points as far as the international community is concerned. Afghanistan is not on that priority, and terrorism emanating out of Afghanistan, uh, affecting Pakistan, again, really doesn't bother USA or for that matter Europeans. But having said that, the silver lining is that the regional powers, particularly China, Russia, uh, and even Iran, who are either affected or are likely to be affected out of this terrorist, activities emanating out of Afghanistan. So I think, other than our own, political as well as military effort, we must emphasize the regional
You're saying that
cooperation
we can get regional
for
assistance rather than, from countries that are sympathetic to this terrorism. But isn't it true, Fakhar Sahab, that whether, the international community or international organizations acknowledge this, the fact is that it's been proven in other parts of the world also, this kind of interference that comes from India. The question is that, unfortunately, it can affect this region, the geographical location of Pakistan, of Afghanistan, of India, where it is. Overall, it's the fact that we are nuclear nations also is something that should be a cause of concern for the international community, no?
Yeah, of course. In this region, there are three nuclear powers, China, Pakistan, and India. Of course, this is will be a concern for the international community. But as Ijaz Sahab said that right now the situation in the Middle East as well as in the Ukraine-Russia war, therefore I think so they are not focusing especially on this region. Right now we are some developments coming from Iran with US as well, which is not good, especially for this region, I think so. But on the regional basis, as a neighbor of Afghanistan, we should uh, bring some settlement with them. What we are doing, how we can do this by dialogues or by I mean to say by force. Our military forces are deployed over there on the Pak-Afghan border. Of course, we they will performing their duties, but dialogues are very important. Of course, if we will engage with Afghanistan directly, of course, if India will try for something to destabilize Pakistan from the Afghanistan side, of course, they will not get an opportunity from there. Therefore, we should keep going on with these type of dialogues and this type of visit as the foreign minister invite the Amir Khan Muttaqi again to visit Pakistan. Of course, we should focus on the situation. Actually, India is not sharing border with Afghanistan. Therefore, this is our main concern. There no problem for India from Afghanistan, but we are facing so many problems from there. In shape of TTP as well as the international news
Even
agency
human
reporting.
trafficking is a cause of concern.
Yeah,
Smuggling is
yeah,
a cause
yeah,
of concern.
yeah,
There are so
yeah,
many concerns at this time. So
yeah. Of
to
course,
address them, right?
yeah,
So in terms of going back to strengthening our own border, do you see other measures in place? You think that there are going to be perhaps stronger measures that Pakistan government expects to take in the near future?
yeah, of course, especially we should manage or especially 5 or 6 crossing points with Afghanistan. We should develop that, especially the Torkham, Angura, Da, the Chaman, Spin Boldak. We should work on that. Of course, whenever we will develop those borders, the illegal immigrants will not be able to come here in Pakistan. This is very important for us, not for Afghanistan, I think. So the Afghani people are right now they are trying to coming back to Pakistan from here. Pakistani government or are deporting them from Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi. But on the other side, they are trying to come again here. Therefore, we should focus on this. We should increase our intelligence presence on those areas, and as well as we should progress. We should keep the trade and business with Afghanistan, not the illegal type of things which is going on from the other side of the border. If we will manage those crossing points, of course, the business volume will increase. In 2015, the business volume was more than $3 billion, but right now the Pakistan and Afghanistan are sharing 580 or 550 million US dollars. Of course, we can increase that. Afghanistan is a good market, especially for the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa industry as well as for the other industrial cities. They can send so many things to Afghanistan. They are a very good market. We should focus on the business and trade, and we should control our border. We should more
What
check
about,
on government.
let me go to Ijaz Sahab with this. Ijaz Sahab, when you talk about market, there's also a very real concern of, a black market. When we talk about arms proliferation, we know that there are, terrorist groups who are reportedly in possession, whether we talk about Tehreek-e-Taliban, Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, there are so many. In terms of dealing with this concern, what are the measures that you feel should be taken as soon as possible? Of course, we know the COS also, spoke recently about dealing with any and all kinds of terrorism, and of course, the resolve of the security forces in ensuring that Pakistan remains safe is, it has to be said. But what are the measures that you feel are needed ASAP, as soon as possible with regard to this kind of, black market that exists, the arms proliferation?
Actually, this is a very complex issue. It's not only the terrorism. Other than that, the drug trafficking, narcotics, arms, illegal arms smuggling that you have mentioned. So all these people, these are there are global mafias whose business interests are involved in such illicit trades. So that is why they want this region or this border to remain ungoverned and a future as per their reckoning. They want that it should be free for all kind of an area where no government interference from Pakistan should have any conflict with their interest in this region. So I think this is one area where again we need to muster cooperations and collaborations from other partners who are equally affected out of narcotics particularly, which is being smuggled out of Afghanistan. So they can help Pakistan for capacity building and ensuring more stringent measures, intangible terms, which can, if not totally control this manner, but at least have a very positive check on that, and slowly and gradually, with the better controlled regime, we can continue to have a greater influence to curb such tendencies.
Right, fair enough. Let me go to, I know I'm mostly out of time, but Dr. Adnan, a quick comments from you with regard to the National Action Plan. Of course, those areas where we have not been able to complete, dealing with those points, which unfortunately there are certain points that Pakistan has not been able to fully do. What in terms of concentration on those, in terms of going back to that, what do you feel about that?
Well, actually, Pakistan has so many other problems as well. Internal sabotage activities, not just of the TTP, but the rest of the anti-state elements are also there. I would say that, Pakistan already, it would be in the notice of your good self and the rest of the others, that Pakistan has just announced the construction of KPEC, the Khyber Pass Economic Corridor. And for the sole reason that the transportation for economic activities, trade activities on the daily basis get to a high acceleration. This is Pakistan's absolute seriousness about this. And that Pakistan also has constructed in the last many some couple of years ago, the Torkham Jalalabad road also. So the point is, and has done a lot there, establishing hospitals and colleges there. But the point is that if just a minute, I'll just request one point that if Afghanistan does not open up, to Pakistan and doesn't have a serious crackdown on TTP, then it would not break the logjam. So therefore, it has to realize that if at all, it has also to prosper, and this border smuggling, etc., that should be severely dealt with. No country can allow free visa kind of a facility without visa to any national. So whatever Pakistan would be doing, it is according to international law, and this Durand Line also has been a settlement according to international law. Al Oppenheim has very extensively written on it. British Prime Minister of that time, 1950, Anthony Adnan also had confirmed that this is an internationally recognized line. So this is my take on this, and I hope that now, after 3 visits of Muttaqi here and maybe another one also, better sense prevails.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adnan Sarwar. Thank you for joining us. AVM retired Ijaz Malik, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments. Fakhar Saab, thank you for being with us today. Overall, of course, it is now time for the Afghan government to deliver on no terrorism, permeating from their side. Pakistan has stood by the Afghans. Of course, we've also stood by the Afghan women and the Afghan children, and Pakistan has extended all the help that it could have, but no country will allow the soil of another to be used against them as far as terrorism is concerned. So it is now for the Afghan government to deliver again on the promises that they make, to deliver on the pledges that they make, and to ensure that no terrorism permeates from their side into Pakistani soil. Let's hope that we can see that. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.